Hello, good people. It's another episode that you happen to meet once again, and I'm glad to have with you here. And thank you for subscribing and thank you for following up all through. All right, today is all about buying your own house or your own home. So the question that you're supposed to ask yourself is that buying a furnished house or what we call a built house and building your own house, which one actually saves you money and which actually makes sure that your money is safe out there? This is the question that people don't even get to ask themselves, but this is the trick that I want to give you today. Do you know there is the profit margin, or there is what we call the margin in difference of 2 million to 2.5 million, or sometimes even more than that, between you buying an already built house or furnished house and you building your own home. And the only thing that you need to do in this case is that you only need to wait for 6 months to save that specific amount of money. But a lot of people don't get to engage themselves in building house shenanigans or something of sort, especially what we call the middle incomers. These are the class of people who prefer to go out there, they fish for a house and buy it, and they don't want to get themselves into building house process or something of sort. Yeah, I know that would be good if you have what we call the time constraints. But my question is this: is it a wise decision if you have all the time as far as the money is concerned? One thing that you're supposed to understand is that those people who build these houses or homes to sell it to you in terms of units, for example, they call them the maisonette or something of sort. You see all the advertisement out there. But my question is this: these people are there for business, all right? But if you're in that business, then this is a thumbs up for you, and this is a good business that you can always engage yourself into. But if you do not have that cash, or rather that amount of money to splash out there and buy a house that is worth more than 2 million of what you've could have used between you, if you were to build your same house. So the question is this: it's always good to sit down, do your own maths. If you have time, and I always say it takes you an average of 6 months to build your own home from scratch to finishing. All right. So if you have time, at least 6 months, it's always good, go out there and build your own house, because if you have perspective of growing yourself to the next level, you might become a landlord or something of sort, and that means you have to build your own house. It's always good to immerse yourself with this knowledge and understanding as you move forward. I always this specific episode, I wanted to cover the topic that talks about the amount of money that you can save if you decide to build your own home compared to you buying your home out there. Number one, the advantages of this is this. Number one is that you get to understand the type of materials that you use to build that specific house. Remember, these people, they try as much as they can to cut the cost of building that specific house in the name of increasing what we call the profit margin. Although they consider the factors of security or how secure that building is, but at the end of the day, that thing costs you a lot of money. So it's always good to be sure and be cautious when investing or when buying such kind of a building, right? So what I would advise an individual is this: if you have your time, just go out there, buy a piece of land and build your own home. There is a beauty in building your own home because you have a history. You build what you call the connection between you and the house that you're about to make it a home. There is that connection that comes before or after or during the process, when you are building, when you're breaking the ground, when you're doing the rough work, when you're doing the finishes and something of sort. There is a connection that you build with that house, and that actually gives you the motivation to actually buy another piece of land and invest in real estate or something of sort. All right, for me, 2.5 million is quite a large amount of money that you need to save. But again, if you fall under this category of people, you have what we call the time constraint. The time is not really on your side. You want to have a home. Maybe you've shifted from one town to the other, or maybe you've shifted from one country to the other, and you want to settle down because you have a family or something of sort. At that particular moment, honestly, you do not have time to build your own home. What you can do is that you just go ahead and buy that specific house. But I have to assume that the job that you're doing is worth sparing that 2.5 million for you to buy that specific home. At times you can get yourself in a place whereby you do not have the capacity to build your own home. Let's say you are an expatriate. They call the expatriate those people who come from a different country to our country. For example, in our country, Kenya. So you find maybe you do not have the permits or the legal acceptance for you to build your own home. At that particular moment, it's understandable, and you can actually go ahead and buy that specific house. But again, if you're a Kenyan out there, you have your time, you're still not that old or something of sort, and you have 6 months to spare somewhere, you can save yourself that 2.5 million. By the way, do you know that 2.5 million can actually do you a lot of things? Do you know it is able to build some several bed sitters out there, and you can rent them? Yeah, you can rent them out there. So it's always good to do math and get to understand specifically what you want as far as the investment is concerned, and when you want to buy a house or a home that you want to make it, a house that you want to make it a home. All right. If you love that kind of a content, my name is Joseph. I love to talk about personal finance and how we can manage our money and invest it, take ourselves to the next level. If that is a cup of your coffee, then consider this place home by subscribing, like this video, and also comment down below, because I'm a believer you have something that you can share. And see you in the next one. Goodbye.